Hey Divination, thank you for joining us in this live stream, and today I will show you how to add an interactive map to Divi's new travel block layout pack, which came out last Friday. So if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure that you do have mentioned a link in the description below. And if you're not an Elegant Themes member yet, make sure that you check Divi as well. I've put a link to the product page of Divi where you can discover Divi for yourself and hopefully become a member. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so let's start by taking a look at the travel block layout pack. So we have 6 different layouts, and this is the design that you can expect. So you can see all of these layouts within the live demo by going to Elegant Themes / layouts. And if you scroll down over here, you'll come across the travel block layout pack, and then you can take a look at each one of these layouts in the live demo by clicking on this blue button over here, and then it will redirect you to the live installed website that contains all of these pages. And one of the nice pages of this layout pack is the trip page, which I personally really like. Let's just take a look at it. And here we have it. So here you can, you can use this as a blog post template as well. And here you can elaborate everything about the trip that you took and what your experiences were with it. And it's just a very nice layout. So what we'll show you within this live stream tutorial is how to take this blog of this layout pack just a little bit further. So we have this blog page at the moment, and obviously, it contains all of the elements that are needed from a blog page. So you have all of the blog posts that you can organize the way you want to. You can also highlight some of the featured blog posts over here, and you also have a newsletter subscription over here that you can add to your layout. So it's added, but you can add your own account to it. And what we'll show you within this live stream tutorial is how to take this blog layout just one step higher by adding an interactive map, and I'll show you what that looks like over here. So I've installed it on another local website that I created before, so I tested everything out, and we'll go through every step of this tutorial on how to set this up. So we have this interactive map over here, and we're using a free plugin for this called HTML5 Maps, and I've mentioned a link to that in the description below as well, so go ahead and download that one if you want to follow along this live stream tutorial. And so we have this interactive map over here, and you can see that it contains all of the continents, and this plugin actually offers other kind of maps as well. But you have a premium version of the plugin as well. And for instance, if you want to include a map with all of the countries, that will be part of the paid plugin. So showing all of the continents is part of the free plugin, so you can do that without having to buy the premium plugin. And on click, I'm just going to scroll down over here, and you can see all of these blog posts, and depending on how much you will use your blog section, you will probably have different continents that you're going to write about. And for instance, this one is written for Asia. I've just created some blog posts that are relevant to a certain continent over here, and this one is relevant to America, North America to be specific. It's just, and you have one for Europe as well. So on click, so for instance, if somebody wants to click on Europe, they will be redirected to the category page that contains all of the relevant blog posts to that continent. So for instance, if you click on Asia, every blog post that has Asia within it or is relevant to Asia will show up. So if I just click on Europe over here, you will see that only the blog posts that are relevant to Europe are showing up. And the same counts for the other continents, so you can set this up the way you want to. So the first thing you will need to do to add this interactive map is download the free plugin. So I've mentioned a link in the description below. It's called the HTML5 Maps plugin. So go ahead and go to that link and click on the download button. It's a free plugin. You won't have to pay anything for it. So go ahead and download this plugin and then come right back to your WordPress website and go to your WordPress dashboard. And over here, you go to plugins and just add a new plugin and upload your plugin and activate it as well. So I have already done that. So you'll just have to upload it over here, and I have already done that. And as soon as you do, you will see that there's a new option over here called HTML maps, and you know, this is what we'll use. But before we get to that, we'll start doing something else. So the way we're going to connect these continents to a certain link, so a certain category link, is by creating these categories. So we're just going to use these categories to create all of these different continents, and that way we can assign our blog posts to a specific continent. So you're not limited to only creating blog posts to that specific continent, but if you want them to show up on click, you will have to assign your blog posts to those categories. So just go to posts over here and then move on to categories. All right. And over here, we're going to add each one of the continents. So I've created 3 blog posts, you know, sample blog posts, one for Asia, one for North America, and one for Europe. So I'm just going to add these 3 and then link them to my blog post. So simply just give your category a name and click on add new category. And Asia. All right, so then go back to your posts, the ones you've created, and you will need to repeat this step every time you create a new blog post or for the blog posts that you've created in the past. So you'll need to assign each one of the blog posts to the continent of your choice. So I'll just open these and just change it really quick so you can see how easy it is to do that. So over here, I'm just going to deselect and categorized and assign it to Europe. All right, and then just update my blog post. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2 blog posts, but just assign them to a different category. And I see there was a question, is it possible to do it with a country and use cities? This plugin has a paid version as well, and this allows you to have other maps containing countries and I think cities as well. So if you want to do the same thing but using countries and cities, you will need to purchase the paid version of this plugin, but I don't think it's really expensive or anything, but it just allows you to have these other maps as well. So you simply have to go to that HTML5 maps URL in the description, and you will be able to find a way to the paid plugin as well. All right, so now I'll assign this one to North America, update. So as I mentioned before, you will need to do this for each one of your blog posts that you've created in the past or the ones that you will create in the future. I'm just going to do this last one as well. and assign it to Asia. All right, so in the next part, we're going to create our map and we're going to modify it so it matches the color palette of our layout pack. So we can make some modifications to it, to its appearance. So that's a nice thing to have. So you won't really need to use CSS code for that. We're just simply going to change the colors and all that. All right, so move on to the HTML5 maps option over here and go to maps. And over here, you can see all of the maps that are available. So as you can see over here, there's one for continents, and this is a free version. And then you have one for countries, which is premium. And then you can go ahead and add one for the USA as well, or for North America. But I'm just going to use this world map for continents as it is free. And I'll just click on add a new map. Now I have this map over here, and there's also a shortcode, and I'm just going to make some modifications to it. One of the major modifications that we'll make is link each one of the continents to the specific category page it's relevant to. So I'll just click on map settings over here. And within the preview tab, you can also take a look at your map. So this is the default version. So this is what you get. And this doesn't really match our layout pack color palette wise. So we'll change that. And we'll start with the general settings over here. So I've noticed that you have a responsive version of this map as well, but I just don't think it's really suited for mobile and tablet because it really gets a lot smaller if you look at it on a tablet or a phone, and I just don't think it's the best way to navigate to category pages on anything else than a desktop. So I personally disabled it, but you can also, keep it responsive if you want to. I don't think it's like the best choice, but of course, depending on how you're going to position it on your website, it might work out. So I'm just going to disable it over here. And I'll also change the border color into the following color code. And this is actually a color that is frequently used within the travel block layout pack. And, the background of this field becomes the color that you choose. Because at first I thought this is red, there's something wrong, but it just takes the color code and, puts it as a background color of that field. And then I'm also going to change the map width and height, and I'm going to use double the amount that it's type down here. So I'll just use 1200 for the width and 600 for the height. All right, so I'll just click on Save Changes. So these are the general changes that we need to make to this plugin. And then we'll move on to the detailed settings. And over here within the detailed settings, we'll make modifications to each one of the continents individually. All right, so let's move on to detailed settings. And, you basically have to repeat the same steps for each one of the continents. So I'm going to start with Asia, since we have a blog post that's relevant to it. And you definitely have to go through each one of the continents and repeat the same steps. And over here you have a name and a short code, and you have these options that tell you what should happen once that somebody clicks or somebody is like hovering over the area. And we'll just select open a URL. And over here, we'll need the URL to our category. And for that, I'm going back to my posts over here, going to categories. I'm just going to open that in a new tab so I don't lose all of these settings over here that I'm changing. And over here we have Asia, and if you just click on view, you will get the URL that you need. So just simply copy this and over here enter it. And then over here, we're going to change these colors as well. So we're going to make them match the color palette of the travel block layout pack. And we have a normal color, and then we have a hover color as well over here. So then I'm just going to click on Save Changes. So you'll have to go through all of the steps, but I think you can just apply this to all areas over here as well. So you will need to redirect each one of the different continents to a unique URL depending on your category. So I'll just open Europe next over here. And if I open Europe as my category, I'll just copy this URL again. So you'll simply just have to change the slug over here to the relevant continent. So you don't have to open each one of them again, but over here you will need to place the correct URL for each one of the continents. So I'm not going to do that for each one of them because you get the point, but you will need to do that. So once you go back to your maps over here, so once you've made all of the modifications to the map you've added, you will still have the same short code over here, but you're ready to copy this short code and add it to your page. So we'll go to our page over here by clicking on the website name, and then I'll go to the blog page. And I personally think is the best location on your website to place this interactive map because it simply allows visitors to navigate through the posts. So we're using this for post specific. But you can use this for other things as well. As you could see, you can add whichever kind of URL you want. So you can definitely just link it to anything else. So I'll just enable the visual builder over here. And I'm going to add my interactive map right below the hero section so people can see it right away. And I'll use a regular section for that. And I'm going to remove the bottom padding of the section as well, just so I don't have too much space between the top of this section and the bottom of this one, because both of them create extra padding. And I'm also going to hide this section on tablet and phone because since I've mentioned it before, I've chosen the not responsive one, and I'm choosing to just show this on desktop and not on tablet or mobile. You could show these on tablet and mobile as well because this plugin does support it, but I just don't think it's the best way to go. So I'm just going to disable these. And then I'll add a row with one column. And add a text module. And within this text module, I'm going to paste the shortcode to my map. And then I'm going to save the changes. And exit the visual builder. As you can see, the map shows up on my blog page right away. And if I click on one of these continents, for instance, Europe, you can see the relevant blog posts to that continent. So it's a really nice design, and you can definitely also highlight the fact that people can click on these continents, although when they hover, they will probably be curious and just navigate to one of these continents. All right, so that was it for this tutorial, for this live stream. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And we hope that you're enjoying this ongoing Divi design initiative where we try to put something extra into your design toolbox each and every week. If you